Hello YouTube, Jazzo here. Another day, another Twitter war with the wonderful Benjamin Cook. Ben and I are sound friends, but every now and again we will decide to butt heads quite publicly on Twitter. It's a tradition we have that happens about every month or 2 months. I advise you to follow us both on Twitter so that you don't miss out the next time that sparks fly. This time around it was caused by a tweet based around International Coming Out Day, the 11th of October. I woke up bleary-eyed trying to remember when it was. October the 11th, is it today? Is Coming Out Day today? Do I still have time to put out something content-wise on YouTube to get all of those tentpole clicks? I see that today is Coming Out Day. I probably don't have enough time to make a video, so I'm like, a tweet will suffice. So I go, happy hashtag Coming Out Day, everyone. No one ever forgets it. Send it off into the ether. I thought I've done my bit for the queer community today. Unfortunately, Twitter doesn't allow for a huge amount of nuance in its messaging with the 140 character limit and all. So I ended up actually having a fair amount of pushback of people saying that that tweet was very Western and privileged focus. It can't be brilliant for everybody. And one of the biggest proponents was Ben Cook, who said, I don't think that everybody doesn't regret it. Weird double negative, but bear with me. Now I think that it's brilliant that Coming Out had its own hashtag and its own day once a year where we all celebrate the fact that we're all brave enough and lucky enough to be able to live open, queer lives. It's brilliant and it's beautiful. That isn't to say that coming out and actually gay culture as a whole does often get hijacked by the West, and it gets hijacked by people from white privileged backgrounds. It is so much easier to come out if you are from a Western, developed, socially liberal country than if you are a person of colour, from a particular background, from a particular religious background, if you're in a country where you're persecuted because of your sexuality. All of those infinitely complicate the whole thing. I am by no means saying, by saying that no one regrets coming out, I'm by no means saying that just do it. Because frankly, coming out isn't always safe. While Ben and I were having our Twitter spat, he was kind enough to send me a link to the Reddit Gay Bros, where there was a thread about people who regretted coming out. There were some touching stories there. People who came out to loved ones and then were bagged up and sent off to a conversion camp the next day, ended up cutting ties with their family, and were obviously incredibly distressed and were nowhere near as lucky as somebody like me in terms of how I was able to come out and generally get accepted by the people that I loved around me. What I probably should have said in my not very nuanced tweet was the fact that, number one, if you are thinking of coming out, then your safety and your ability to be happy afterwards are paramount. If you are young and you don't have autonomy over your parents, then set those wheels in motion. At least start to think about it. We're lucky that we live in the age of the internet, and you can find your local support group, and they are everywhere, from Moscow to Mumbai to Shanghai to Arkansas. Everywhere has a queer community. Find your local queer community before you come out. Find that support network if you are scared or you are worried about how people around you will react to your sexuality, and make sure that those contingency plans are in place. Your safety, and I can't say this enough, is paramount. If you need help or resources for this, I will leave as many links as I can down in the doobly-doo below. Make sure that you check them out. If you're watching this trying to find advice on how to come out, then hopefully those will work. But don't put yourself at risk, for the love of God, because that is going to make something that's already really difficult, coming out, sometimes potentially changing the relationships that you have forever, that makes it that much harder. But there are always going to be people who are going to love you, not in spite of you being gay, but because you are gay, or you are queer, or you are bi, or you are trans. There will always be people that love you. I couldn't really fit that into a tweet, that was a problem. I will stand by my wording of the tweet though, the fact that nobody regrets coming out. Yes, there are going to be people who regret the manner in which they come out. Sometimes people come out too quickly, too soon, too publicly, and that can complicate things and make things difficult. And often people don't come out when they have a safety net and a contingency plan. And that's going to probably make you regret the way that you came out. I've been lucky enough to live across the world, and I've been lucky enough to talk to a load of queer people from all corners of the earth, from China to India to Russia to South America to all over Europe and even Africa. And I know nobody who would want to go back in the closet. I know nobody who thought, oh God, I wish that I hadn't made this step. Because at the end of the day, before you come out, you are hiding yourself from the world, and it's so much better to be authentically you. You just need to make sure that you are able to be authentically you. Sure, there are people who wish that they weren't gay and would take a pill and change things tomorrow if they could and not have to go through it all. That's not the same as regretting coming out. And I can guarantee to you, if you're watching this and thinking about coming out and trying to figure out how to do it and when to do it, that when it actually happens, at least in the long term, your ability to be open with the people that you love, to find a family of other queer people who will understand you and love you no matter what, that power that you will get when you eventually do come out, whenever is ready and whenever is an appropriate time and whenever is safe for you, that you will not regret it. Just look after yourself first. That's all I have to say. Happy coming out day, everybody. I have been Rhyming with Oranges. Like, comment and subscribe. Blah blah blah. Optimization of YouTube. I'll talk to you guys really soon. Love you lots. Bye bye.